welcome everybody for joining us today. CONNECTpreneur, as most of you know, it's a global community of over 25,000 investors, CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professional services providers from around the world. And this is our 78th CONNECTpreneur event overall over the last 10 years and our 30th virtual Rocket Pitch. We are now the world's largest monthly investor pitch event, and we will continue doing these monthly events as long as it's adding value for our community. Over the last 10 years, we've had over 800 presenting companies, and our investor network now totals over 3,200 accredited private investors, angels, and family offices who are interested in investing in awesome deals that they can meet through our community and our events. 10 years ago, we originally started CONNECTpreneur as a forum for business leaders and entrepreneurs and investors to connect and engage, learn, to be inspired, and to celebrate entrepreneurship and innovation. And our intent is to help our community members, you guys, to find awesome deals, to find partners or customers, find capital, meet and engage with great business leaders. And our events are all about networking. And that's why we do these events as meetings. So everyone on the call can see everyone else. And this is not a webinar. And you can also private chat with everyone else as well. And we also do something that no one else does. We publish a list of all the registered guests that we have in the back of every program book. All of our program books are downloadable from the website, so all 70X program books. And you can see who's attended all of our events over the years. And Emily, if you could post the link to the program book for those of you who have not downloaded the program book for today, you can download the electronic version. So. A couple things about today's event. After our final speaker, we have nine speakers, 9 presenting companies. We're going to open up the breakout room. So each presenting company will host their own breakout room. So you, as an attendee, you'll be able to enter and leave whichever breakout room you want. And please do visit as many presenting companies that you have an interest in investing in or learning more about. You can ask Q&A. You can go deeper with them in the breakout rooms. Today, I think we're gonna have at least 40 minutes for breakout rooms. So that's gonna be awesome. And the purpose of the breakout room obviously is for the presenting companies to go deeper with you guys, with the investors. And please remember that they are the host of this breakout room, so conduct yourselves accordingly. We don't have issues, but I feel like I have to say it anyway. So thanks for that. And also with respect to the group chat, we want you to connect and we want you to share your information, but please be respectful and don't overdo it. So just, use your discretion. And also I would say, you can download the chat history before you go into the breakout rooms or before you leave the event. So you have sort of a written record of everyone else's, the stuff that they've been putting in. Our presenters, they'll be posting links to their deck and their executive summaries in the group chat itself. And also potential registration information for follow-on investor meetings or perhaps their Calendly links. So keep an eye out for that. And hopefully you'll, if you're interested, you'll be able to connect with them. So I mentioned downloading the chat transcript. How you do that is basically click on the chat icon at the bottom of the toolbar and you'll see a little rounded square with 3 dots. And if you click on that icon and hit save, the chat transcript will be saved and you can review and follow up later with anyone who's reaching out to you. And make sure you do that before you go into the breakout rooms. And also, obviously before you leave the event, because that stuff disappears after you leave. We're also going to be polling our investors, and this is an investor-only poll. So if you're not an investor, please do not answer the investor polls. We're going to have 3 polls. So we have 9 presenters. So we'll do polls after presenter number 3, 6, and 9. And remember, again, this is for investors only. It's a confidential poll. It's not a popularity contest. We share the information only with our presenting companies so that they can connect in person, or they'll be able to connect with you since this is not an in-person event. So investors, please indicate which companies you're interested in learning more about, and we will make sure you guys are connected. We're also doing 2 polls for our sponsors so we can generate leads for our sponsors. And this is really important to us because we don't sell tickets for this event. It's a free event, and our sponsors are the ones who make this event possible. So please be sure to indicate a need when we put up the poll. So we have, you'll see on the poll when we put it up, if you're looking for services, just indicate, and we'll make sure that your name, it's confidential, but we'll pass along your name to our sponsors so they can follow up. And you can see the list of our sponsors on the back in the program book itself. And, I'll shout them out individually soon. I also want to give a great shout out and thanks to our awesome CONNECTpreneur ambassadors and our CONNECTpreneur prep team. They've done a great job helping our presenting companies, spreading the word about our events worldwide. And you'll see our prep team in the program book itself as well. So anyway, here's the rundown for today. We have 9 total presenters. Each presentation is 4 minutes, no question and answer. You can reserve your Q&A for the breakout rooms. And if you're an interested investor, be sure to indicate this on the investor poll and make sure you stop by the breakout room of the presenter. If you have any issues getting in touch with any presenters, just let us know and we'll make sure you get their contact information. So today our presenters will be introduced by Anthony Millen of Next, powered by Schulman Rogers. And remember, investors, we will do the 3 polls. We'll poll you after the 3rd presenter, the 6th presenter, and the 9th presenter. And we have the batting order in the program book as well. So I also want to let you guys know we have a Slack channel with 4,600 people. It's free. You guys can use the channel to promote your events, to connect, to find jobs, to hire people. And we also have a great YouTube channel with over 400 videos of our presenting companies. So Emily will post on there the link to our YouTube channel so you can sign up, or to our Slack channel so you can sign up as well. And those are sort of like open forums like today's chat box, and you can kind of share information, and it's just another resource for our community. So anyway, so what else do I have for you guys? I guess we'll put up the first, I'm going to put up the first poll. So if you could just give me a second, I'm going to read out our sponsors because they're awesome. And again, they're in the program book. I want to shout out Next, powered by Schulman Rogers, Modus Create, Stella Pop, Startup Grind, AEG, you will be hearing from Mark later on, the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Pitchforce, Truist Financial, Ryan and Wetmore, Refraction, which is the leading innovation hub in Washington, D.C. This is where the CONNECTpreneur studios are. I'm broadcasting to you live from Refraction, which is about a 20-minute ride west of the District of Columbia. And they are offering 2 months free for anyone in the region who would like to take to join. So Esther Lee is the CEO, and I can connect you with Esther, or she may even be on the call right now. So if you have any interest, just let us know. I want to thank Keiretsu Forum. I want to thank New York Life, George Mason Enterprise Transformation Solutions, Angels and Life Sciences Investors and the New Jersey Angels, Schulman Rogers, Founder Institute, Georgetown Entrepreneurship, the Baltimore Angels, SAPA, FITCI, which is the Frederick, Maryland Incubator, the Maryland Tech Council Venture Mentoring Services Group, the Smith School of Business Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship and the Dingman Angels, the Institute for Excellence in Sales, the Center for Advancing Innovation, National Association of Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, U.S. International Development Center, COBE, the MIT Alumni Angels of DC, the annual Wharton DC Summit, and the Monty Jade Science and Technology Association. Thank you guys all for supporting us. Thank you guys, the audience, for clicking on the polls. We'll make sure you're connected with our folks at the right time. So now, without further ado, I would like to get the program going here by introducing Anthony Millen. Anthony will introduce our presenters today. Again, we have 9 presenters, and then we have 9 breakout rooms after the presentations are over. Anthony is an attorney. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's a venture capitalist with the Third Sphere family of VC funds. And he's the founder of Next, which is an innovative law firm that's disrupting the way startup law is being performed. Next offers packaged offerings on a fixed price basis. They were recently selected by Law.com and Legal Week as the Startup Emerging Growth Company Law Firm of the Year, beating out several huge and well-known firms. Anthony is also a counsel to several dozen of our alumni companies, so we're very appreciative for his help to our community and for his support. Anthony, welcome.
Great. Thank you very much, Tien, and thank you, Skylar and the CONNECTpreneur team for today's event. We are very honored to be a longtime sponsor and supporter of CONNECTpreneur, a leading global event connecting entrepreneurs, investors, and other members of the startup ecosystem. For more information on Next, which Tien just spoke about, please visit us at www.next.law. The first company that I have the honor of introducing today is AEG. AEG creates exclusive communities for elite business advisors and successful CEOs. AEG manages a national ecosystem of city-based communities of advisors in 80 complementary disciplines and separate peer groups of CEOs of 20 million plus companies. Please welcome Mark Haas, co-founder and CEO of AEG.
Okay, thanks, Anthony, and thanks, Tien. Glad to be a longtime CONNECTpreneur sponsor. In my 40 years of advising CEOs as a management consultant and strategy and operations, I've really come to recognize there are really three unstoppable, unspoken trends. The first is increasing complexity across all business operations and decision-making. The second is the decline of trust among all institutions. And the third is compression of time. This really crushes business growth and productivity. So this manifests itself, especially for CEOs running mid-market companies and for those advisors helping them with that growth. I think for advisors, the biggest challenge to complexity leads to specialization. So everybody has their own niche and makes it really hard to connect to the companies they want to serve. And for CEOs, it's hard to get quick access to the right combination of trusted advisors. So based on that, to navigate this maze, what AEG is doing is creating a national ecosystem of exclusive trust communities for both of these growth resources. Now, this may be a logical solution to a problem. It really hasn't been done before at this level. So we're creating two parallel city-based communities. The first is the orange is the elite advisors. These are 80 complementary disciplines: law, finance, strategy, operations, sales, et cetera, that help the owners grow, exit, and build their personal wealth. The second one in the green is successful, mature CEOs of companies of about 20 million or more in revenue. Now, every individual in these communities is vetted according to our culture and values. So we've got a simple but powerful subscription-based business model. It's a platform model, scale economies, and network effects. Both the advisory and CEO community members pay annual dues. There's gross revenues of about $1 million per city. It's 85% recurring revenue and a 30% margin that grows as we scale the business. The market's pretty substantial for both advisors and CEOs. Addressable market for the advisors is 7 million. Obtainable is about 140,000. These are the top 5% of advisors in our target cities. Same for the mid-market CEOs, about 1.5 million CEOs of 10-person plus companies. We're targeting about the top 180,000. We only need about 1% of this. So the question is, how do we actually access those? This is one of the brilliant ideas of the model. What we're doing is leveraging city-based business clubs. They're already a center for advisors and CEOs interested in connecting one another. But we take this to a new level by connecting them in a tighter community with intentional networking and business growth and community orientation. This ends up being a win-win for both the business clubs and AEG, and the strategy allows us to accelerate our expansion a lot faster. So each community is going to have a local director who knows the community and is known by the community. So if this idea of networking and CEO peer groups sounds familiar, it certainly is, which is good because it proves the concept. However, we're really creating an unmet need by connecting these two communities together. It's not just an internal operation. And what's pretty amazing is that some AEG members have said, after experiencing it, says this is like the anti-accelerant and the anti-Vistage. It is so different. So we're getting traction. We started in DC with an advisory chapter, added Inner Circle, which is our CEO peer group in 2021, and expanded to Baltimore advisors. In 2022, we're starting a peer group in Baltimore and expanding to Tampa. So the expansion is we're growing modestly, even though each city is going to be independent, will have its own director. We're just being careful about how fast we launch these cities, not growing too fast, but they are independent, so we should be okay. In many respects, this kind of looks like a franchise with centralized finance, marketing, and administration, but local control of the chapter. Our management team and advisors are all experienced. My partner, John Yetman, is a wealth manager. I'm a management consultant, both focused on advising high net worth, successful CEOs and companies. I've run a membership organization for professionals. Our advisors are all successful CEOs, entrepreneurs, and investors, and our management team's experienced in growing companies and running membership organizations. We're looking to raise $1 million. We've raised $200K already, looking to raise the remaining $800K in the next few months. And that's going to be used specifically for revenue producing opportunities, expanding to new cities, marketing, and staff. Looking for an exit in the next couple of years, probably when we get to 20 cities are operational. This is a conservative growth path to 2026, but we think we can probably do it in 2024 with the investment we're seeking. Exit will be to an insurance, wealth management, private equity company. It's a good cash flow business, but it's also a deal flow with our high net worth CEOs as well as advisors helping companies grow. Be happy to take your questions. I'll put a summary in the chat box and take your questions in the breakout room. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark. I now have the privilege of introducing Blue Force Development. Blue Force Development builds cross-platform packaged software products that enable shared situational awareness, location services, collaboration, and edge IoT, IoBT sensor fusion in 5G, MEC, and mobile environments. Please welcome Michael Helfrich, founder of Blue Force Development.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Helfrich, and I'd like to thank Tien and the team here for allowing us to present to you today. Blue Force is most assuredly a packaged software products company that rapidly connects people, sensors, and AI all together very quickly, delivering actionable insights and autonomous orchestration in IoT time-constrained decision environments. The key to our product package is environments where work processes where ground truth data must be surfaced quickly as the value of it degrades very quickly. While we shipped our first product in 2012, the concept of what we built for mobile edge information sharing started for us in 2003 when I served as a civilian advisor to Paul Bremer in Baghdad, Iraq. Ambassador Bremer was feeling the pain firsthand of information silos and how they were turning once actionable intelligence into non-actionable intelligence at great cost. While I was there, I was very intrigued. More than half of the warfighters, more than half of the State Departments, the NGOs were carrying Palm Pilots. And I'm really dating myself here, but the Palm Pilot was basically a computer because the cell phone had not completely collided with the PDA. So it was fascinating to us that the very people that Ambassador Bremer was anxious to get actionable intel from were actually now carrying computers in their pockets. So when we talk about dual use, as mobile devices became ubiquitous, Blue Force and our product set was born out of requirements in the special operations community here in the U.S. to leverage mobile devices to connect warfighters with other warfighters for shared situational awareness. But as we kind of explored the market segment, we quickly delivered in that quest for product market fit that these folks were going into combat with 20 sensors from 20 different manufacturers with 20 different data formats, and worse, the commander who had to make split-second decisions was flipping between 20 different windows or web applications. Silos of IoT had arrived, much like the silos of information that Ambassador Bremer was experiencing in his quest to make really good decisions. So our software stack eliminates the need to flip between scores of IoT information silos and delivers that single pane of glass. And you can see the continuum moving into 2015 into public sector, 2018 into smart cities, 2020 into the commercial market sectors, where we have got some phenomenal channel masters that resell and bundle our software packages. So as I shared, we have three core products. The first is our mobile product called Blue Force Tactical, Android, iOS. But what it basically does is, in addition to giving you the moving map, the ability to kind of collaborate and see where people are, it gives you that ground truth intelligence, data coming from body-worn sensors. If you're in the fire safety environment, air packs, multi-gas detectors. But the bottom line is, over the last 10 years, we now support more than 350 plus body-worn as well as unattended ground sensors from more than 129 manufacturers. So mobile to mobile, connecting human to human, sharing that real-time sensor data, ground truth and intelligence kind of fused with location-based services. We also have a single pane of glass dashboard called Blue Force Command. It too supports this concept of plugins that can grab data from IoT sensors proximate to the commander. But these plugins can also, on these more compute-intensive environments, can run inside of plugins, AI algorithms, machine learning algorithms, but also core sets of services. And on the Blue Force Command, you can see at the bottom here, you're actually looking at multiple video streams coming from canines, from overhead drones, but it's also showing you probably another 10 to 12 sensors from as many manufacturers. And then finally, Blue Force Edge also has this sensor fusion, but this is built for autonomous types of unattended ground sensors. This product can fuse sensors living in smart city infrastructure to include smart street lights. But we also have a burgeoning and very large market forming with Samsung Digital Display, where we're actually doing core sensor fusion on the smart city intelligent display, not just sensing, but the ability to queue and orchestrate content that gets shown based on various conditions inside of that smart city. So we're focused on three core verticals, and we sell our software as contracted annual recurring revenue, where customers buy 1, 3, or 5-year licenses. Our products are largely sold by channel partners who include OEM, where they embed it with existing products, but we also have a growing and robust set of value-added resellers that wrap services delivery around our capability. Our national security vertical you see in the top there largely focuses on defense and intelligence, while our public sector is focused on smart cities and public safety. The commercial vertical is largely fueled by Samsung to date, and we have others coming on board now who are selling and bundling our tech for cyber physical security, as well as using IoT to influence customer experience inside of large retail chains, sports and spectaculars, and others. And on the right, we did put some logos of existing customers who are deployed with our technology. And in the center column, if you download this, you can see some.
Hey, Michael, we're running over time here. Can you just wrap up, and then we can continue in the breakout room? Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. Sorry about that. The competitive matrix, we're definitely in the edge, and we're definitely on the platform side. These are our projections. We did 1.68. We're expecting to do roughly 8 million this year. If you're interested, I broke it out over the next 3 years by the core market segments. Use of funds, we're raising 5 million to grow our channels and partner ecosystem, but to also ensure customer satisfaction. And in summary, experienced leadership team, mature, proven, and patented technology with unique solutions for large addressable markets. So I do thank you, and I look forward to talking to anyone in the breakout that wishes to stop by. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. I would now like to introduce Ergo Suture. Ergo Suture is a medical technology company driving innovation through advanced suturing systems. Its proprietary solutions are designed by surgeons for surgeons to replicate open surgery suture outcomes, the gold standard in laparoscopic and robotic surgery. Please welcome Claude Nogard, co-founder and CEO of Ergo Suture.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Anthony, for the introduction and for the opportunity to present before you today. We all have relatives or friends, who have suffered or are suffering from a heart condition. So what you might not know is that many of them cannot benefit from surgical interventions. So we design advanced suturing systems that replicate open surgery suture outcomes in hard-to-reach locations like the heart. So more patients with heart problems can benefit from life-saving surgeries. The heart valves, the heart has 4 valves. The mitral valve is the most difficult to repair. And mitral valve regurgitation is also the most common valve defect. Millions of patients cannot undergo surgery because of either comorbidities, left ventricular atrophy, and/or old age. Consequently, less than 1% of patients are treated every year, while 49% who would benefit from surgery have no choice other than receive medication or be monitored. Our solution is a suture-based transcatheter repair system that we deploy in the mitral valve cavity using a device that will look like this one. Our competitive advantage lies in our ability to use sutures to anchor the implant instead of screws or helical anchors, which are proven to dislodge. The catheter is inserted to the patient's femoral artery and guided using a 3D echo to the left atrium, where the ring is deployed before being anchored with stitches. ErgoSuture roller-based technology allows suturing in other hard-to-reach locations, such as in laparoscopic surgery, robot-assisted surgery, and endoluminal surgery. Our total addressable market is over $5 billion, with the biggest opportunity being in transcatheter application, which is about $3 billion. 84% of our pre-seed investors are surgeons, and we already have 22 filed or published patents. We have also completed our first roller-based suture system, the drive and roll, which is a 5mm laparoscopic needle driver to be launched in 2024. So let me tell you more about the drive and roll. It's a handheld mechanical needle driver, which looks and feels like a straight shaft needle driver to provide familiarity to the surgeon, generally reluctant to use new technologies. The innovation comes from the rollers that surgeons can actuate using a trigger pull instead of torquing their wrist. This provides greater control of the needle when passing through tissue and expedite the needle handling. The drive and roll is a 510K class 2 device that is intended initially to use in general surgery, urology, and gynecology procedures. Drive and roll technology is the only roller-based technology that can be used across all surgical platforms, can use any needles, and also basically cut down suturing time. We have an experienced team backed by a deep bench of business advisors, and we have more than 20 years of experience on average with a proven track record of startup creation and exit. We are currently raising $5 million to complete our first product in registration in the US. For this raise, we are open to equity, Regulation D, or convertible note. This will be followed by a $40 million Regulation A plus fundraising to basically launch our drive and roll, but also complete our medical programs such as the human clinical trials for the mitral valve application. If everything goes as planned, we will break even around 2026 ahead of a possible M&A or IPO. We have already raised $6 million for our surgeons network, and the proceeds of the $5 million raise, we support our product development and registration, as well as supporting our launch for the Regulation A plus campaign. So once again, thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to present to you in the breakout room.
Thank you so much, Claude. I want to put up the poll. Our first three presenters were AEG, Blue Force, and ErgoSuture. So this is for investors only. So if you guys can indicate which companies you're interested in getting to know better. Again, you can meet them and do in-depth Q&A in the breakout rooms. Each of our presenting companies is going to be hosting their own breakout room, and those breakout rooms will be 30 to 40 minutes. So yeah, so you're free to go in and out of whatever you'd like. So thank you so much for your interest here. Also a reminder that once we go into breakout rooms after the 9th presenter, please download the chat history. So just click on the chat icon, and then you have a little rounded square with 3 dots. Click on that and save. So you'll be able to read your text transcripts later. So anyway, with that, I'll end the poll, and thank you guys for your participation. And I'll turn it back over to Anthony, who will introduce our next presenter.
Great, thanks, Tien. Next, I would like to introduce Everix. Everix makes advanced optical sensors available to mass markets such as wearable health or technology devices or self-driving cars by reducing the size and cost of their bulkiest and most expensive component, optical filters, by 20 to 30 times. Please welcome Houman Banai, co-founder and CEO of Everix.
Thank you, Anthony, for the introduction. So as we may know, future technologies all heavily depend on advanced and smart optical sensors. Think about smartwatches with many more health monitoring features in the future, or the eyes of the self-driving cars of the future, AR, VR headsets, and many more existing and emerging technologies. It turns out that all these sensors use a component called optical filter as their most critical and most expensive part to selectively see parts of the light spectrum that matter the most to their sensing purposes. while blocking all the other light as a noise in the background. These filters are so expensive and bulky that today we can only find them in very high-end and large instruments, such as the PCR machines for infection and cancer detection, and many other examples. Everix is changing that by making the highest performing optical filters available to consumer and mass market products. This is the same type of paradigm shift that optical fiber manufacturing brought to high-speed communications. We do the same for smart optical sensing. So this is how optical filters look like. They are very complex nano-layered materials, and despite the demand for billions of them, market growth is actually halted because the legacy manufacturing process of vacuum coating, which is shown here, presents a few major challenges. Filters have to be vacuum deposited on thick glass substrate, making them too bulky and too rigid for many applications. The slow and delicate manufacturing process of all these, nano layers in $1 million vacuum chambers make them way too expensive for many applications. An average retail price of roughly about $1,000 per square inch it's very typical. Imagine a next generation smartwatch with 7 pieces of such expensive and bulky optical filters in them. And that is the major bottleneck of innovation now, and Everix is a solution to that problem. Our filters are 20 times more compact than our competition, which is necessary for product miniaturization and signal-to-noise ratio enhancement in compact sensors. We're the only option on the market with both rigid and flexible form factors. And as a cherry on the top, we offer at least 30 times better scaling economies to our customers, all because of our unique manufacturing process shown here. Our technology is protected by 14 issued patents and 20 more pending applications globally. Our products are 100% ready for biotech, health tech, and AR/VR applications, and at physical proof of concept level for LiDAR sensors for self-driving cars. As a result, our customers can now have a whole new level of product innovation to enter new and larger mass markets. So we're in a multi-billion-dollar market, which is already growing at a healthy rate. But what's special about Everix is that we only market and sell to these fastest-growing market segments with growth rates of completely off-the-chart numbers. Hundreds of millions of sensors and filters will be needed in our target markets, and we project to capture about 2% market share in the next 4 to 6 years, making over $100 million a year and rapidly growing from there. Our strategy is to first focus on biotech, health tech, and AR/VR segments. We already have household name customers paying us in both segments, and some of them are already moving to medium volume orders with us. And so from that point, we'll expand into self-driving sensor cars and advanced robotic sensors. We do this with a two-phase go-to-market strategy. We're now utilizing our channel partnerships to penetrate markets and quickly learn without heavily investing in our own sales and marketing. Also, we currently get warm introductions to key OEM customers through our channel partners. In the next phase, enabled by the funds that we're raising now, we will expand our own technical sales, marketing, and business development teams to scale our revenue first by winning designs on the engineer-to-engineer level, and then winning large contracts based on those design wins at the top-to-top executive level. We've already executed on this strategy with some great results so far. We've got hundreds of paying early adopter customers, including multiple Fortune 50 names, a total of roughly $2.2 million in revenue. We've got channel partnerships with the gold standard of our industry, Edmond Optics, already in place. They've also invested in Everix, and we're expanding on that. And we've also had a consistent 2x year-over-year sales growth, and now we're on track to break that record this year. We have a healthy OEM customer pipeline, and we also have revenue already booked for the rest of this year, bringing us to profitability in just about 6 to 9 months. Our margins and financial metrics are also significantly higher than others in our market, which make us an attractive target for merger and acquisition and IPOs in the next few years. We have a very passionate, capable team of operators taking this business from a concept to where we are now. And we'll be expanding on our executive team with the funds that we're raising now. And we also have a really, really hands-on, highly involved group of advisors, each bringing tens of years of experience from top-tier industry players, and collectively raising tens of millions and being involved in multiple exits. So from funding standpoint, I have personally put about $700,000 in the early stages of business. We've also had significant non-dilutive SBIR grants. Now we're raising $3.5 million to establish our growth infrastructure and reach a valuation inflection point for our final round of funding next year. Most of this round is either invested or committed to by larger funds for closing in just about 4 weeks or so. And now we're here, we're left with $400,000, and I'm here hoping to raise that $400,000 from the individual angels. And this will be the last opportunity that we'll be raising funds from individual angels. So with that, I would like to summarize that I think this is a perfect time to invest in Everix because we are reaching a financially sustainable state in a few months with recurring revenue, which is already booked. We are making very essential products that have historically stayed very strong even during economic downturns, life science and biotech and all that. And also, we're a hardware company that offers software type of margins thanks to the scalability of our manufacturing process and the very high value of our products. Thank you so much for your attention.
Great. Thank you very much, Hooman. I would now like to introduce Happily. Happily is the country's leading employee connection platform, empowering companies to create a connected culture, resulting in greater productivity, morale, and retention. The Happily platform enables companies to drive culture, wellness, and corporate social responsibility initiatives across a distributed team. Please welcome Caitlin Isler, CEO of Happily.
Hi, good morning, friends. Thank you so much. My name is Caitlin Isler, CEO and founder of Happily. Happily is the social layer powering the future of work through employee connection for the distributed workforce. Before I take you forward into what we've built, I'd love to give you a little background around how I arrived here today. I spent 15 years in executive search in the software space, was a partner at a global consulting firm, loved my work, worked a lot, and two things that happened that changed the trajectory of my work and my focus and why we're doing what we're doing today. One is I had my daughter and learned how hard it is to be a working parent. And the second is I had a key employee leave and I asked why, and she said, I don't want your life. So that was a pretty big wake-up call, and it has turned into the biggest gift of life because now I have Happily and we are helping companies support people to have a great life at home and at work. And what we've learned, especially in the last 2 years, is that nobody wants another Zoom happy hour. That is not going to cut it in terms of building a great culture. And so we created Happily. We help companies with in-person and remote teams create more connected cultures through meaningful offline interactions. All of the activities on our platform can be found within under 60 seconds with the idea of getting people off their screens and into the world to connect with real humans in meaningful ways. You guys know if you're running companies, investing in companies, part of companies, that losing talent has an immeasurable cost. Just for a 200-person organization, we're looking at $1.5 million a year. There's a 90% decrease in likelihood of doing great work, 11 times increase in employee burnout, and 6 times in attrition across the company. So this is a huge problem that we're excited to be part of solving. Happily goes beyond Slack to create real connection. And we help people experience the best local activities and ways to give back while increasing your team's connection to each other, building strong relationships that have a huge impact on your business. And for companies, it's an on-demand culture that they can use from anywhere with a wide variety of ways to pull people together. It's a huge market, so $52 billion globally, and our slice of that market is $5 billion, which is companies with over 250 employees in the US. And our segment of that market is only growing as we expand our offerings. The market is interesting. There's some great companies out there, and companies are spending money on wellness. And this is anywhere from $200 to $1,200 a year per employee that they're spending. And Happily is coming into this market with something new that meets people where they are and that really drives a true culture of connection. And we're super excited by the response from the market based on this new fun thing we're bringing to the world. Our target customer has over 250 employees, hybrid or fully workforce, and they show evidence that they're already investing in people with progressive benefits. And you'll see in the next page with some of our customers, these are companies that are always winning best places to work. They really care and they get how this drives their business and their ability to meet their goals. And our target decision maker is a CHRO, VP of HR. These are all people I've been selling into for my whole career. So current customers, we're so proud to work with Navy Federal, who has told us this is the most successful benefit they've ever rolled out. Appian, for my DC friends who might know this wonderful company. And then you can see on the left side of the screen some of the amazing pilots that are in flight that will account for a significant amount of our revenue this year. We're looking at $500,000 in revenue this year and $50 million in the next 5 years. And we've got an amazing team. So experienced leadership team comprised of technology executives with intimate knowledge of the HR space. And I would say I'm really proud also of the incredible investors and engaged advisors that we have on board that are also helping drive these opportunities. Lots of opportunities on the exit potential. Based on what we've built, certainly some really interesting conversations already in flight, but we're not quite ready there. We've got a lot of building to do, so we're excited about those possibilities too for our investors. In terms of this raise, we're raising 2.5 at an $8 million valuation. We've got $1 million of the round committed. Cav Angels is the lead on our round, and VIPC has been a major investor and an incredible partner to us. These funds will go to sales, marketing, and continued product development. When we talk to our customers, they're thinking about the future of work, and they love Happily because that's exactly what we do. We enable people's lives out of work so that they can be great at work and to perform for the business. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin. I would now like to introduce National Cardiac. National Cardiac is a wearable biosensor company with a strategy to dramatically streamline cardiac monitoring in the clinical trial sector. Please welcome Steve Kenny, CEO of National Cardiac.
The primary point National Cardiac would like to communicate today is that there's a substantially larger opportunity in the clinical trial market for cardiac monitoring over and above the office-based cardiac diagnostics where other patch technologies are currently competing. While there are a number of cardiac monitoring patches on the market today, none of them meet these requirements for clinical trials. The LIBA-3 wearable biosensor patch technology is ideally suited for this need due to the simplicity of the design, the lack of required patient interaction of the device, and the technically superior data collection the LIBA-3 provides. The LIBA-3 wearable biosensor is waterproof, easy to apply, and if a person can put on a Band-Aid, they can easily apply the LIBA-3 patch. So patients can do it as well, easily. I'm going to show you the FDA-approved LIBA-3 patch design, packaging, and ease of use after this very short slide presentation. Allow me to give you the current process for monitoring cardiac risk and testing all new drugs for FDA approval. In other words, the FDA wants to know what sort of cardiac risk every drug on the market, whether it's a cardiac drug or not, what the cardiac risk profile is. I owned and operated 3 high-volume, hospital-based clinical trial sites for more than 12 years, so I fully understand the current state of cardiac risk monitoring. When a clinical trial is approved by a when a clinical trial site is approved by a CRO, contract research organization, or pharmaceutical company to conduct a study, a brand new $20,000 EKG machine is provided to each site.
Hey,
that would be anywhere.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. Your slides are not advancing.
Yeah, no, I'm still on this slide.
Okay, all right, thanks.
So anyway, a brand new $20,000 EKG machine is provided to each site, and that could be anywhere from 20 to 200 sites across the US. A 1-minute EKG is taken when a subject or patient initially volunteers for the study. And then each week thereafter, when the patient comes back into the site for lab work and examination and the next week's worth of dose or next week's dose worth of medication, once again, a 1-minute EKG reading is taken. This means that there's only 1 minute of cardiac data collected each week during the clinical trial. This process is woefully inadequate when compared to collecting cardiac data 24 hours every day during the entirety of the study, which is what the Libre-3 biosensor can do. Each site charges the pharmaceutical company anywhere from $400 to $750 per 1 minute strip reading. On the other hand, the Libre-3 will cost the pharmaceutical company $150 per week, a substantial cost savings in addition to acquiring 24/7 worth of cardiac risk data. Clinical research organizations have been seeking a patch technology for cardiac monitoring to fill this void. However, all the patches on the market today require various forms of patient interaction versus the place and forget design of the Libre-3. Even the simplest patient task, such as turning on and off a switch or changing or recharging a battery, has been deemed unacceptable in the clinical trial sector. Not unlike many other clinical interactions, today, I moved that too quickly. Anyway, not unlike many clinical interactions today, the migration to telemedicine has also gained traction in the clinical trial space. Decentralized clinical trials where remote patient monitoring is required will shortly become the norm. The Libre-3 is ideally positioned for this shift in clinical research. This shift is taking place in a rapid fashion. So in addition to the clinical research market that we initially planned to address, we also plan to address the office-based cardiac monitoring market with our superior technology. NCI, National Cardiac Inc., has already identified independent sales and service organizations currently selling therapeutic devices such as pacemakers, internal loop recorders, and defibrillators into the office clinic-based cardiology market. These organizations are clamoring for a disposable, reliable cardiac biosensor, a patch. NCI will address this sizable market as well through this pre-identified distribution channel after we gain initial traction in the much larger clinical trial sector. As the slide would indicate, NCI is seeking $2.5 million in a convertible note with very attractive terms to support the clinical comparative data, the study, the selected institutional investors, which we've identified and had a great deal of interest in, more than 10 that would like to place the Series A investment round that will take the company into profitability.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to launch the next poll. Guys, Steve, your slides were not advancing, so when you go into breakout room, you may want to advance your slides and do the demo because you have an amazing company and great technology. But our last three presenters were Everix Optical Filters, Happily, and obviously Steve with National Cardiac. And I would like to also remind you guys that there will be breakout rooms. So Everix, Happily, National Cardiac, and the other 6 presenters will be hosting a breakout room. And at that point, they can probably go deeper on their slides and demos and whatever else is necessary. And just a reminder to download your chat transcript before you go into the breakout rooms. You'll be able to go in and out of whatever breakout rooms you want after the next 3 presenters. So we're going to do the next 3 presenters. We'll do another poll, and then we'll do a second sponsor poll, and then we'll go into breakout rooms until around 1 o'clock or so. So I still see some votes coming in. Any investors, please click on the polling, and we will pass these leads on to the companies. This is confidential. We're not going to share the results, but thank you guys so much for your participation. And I still see indications coming in, so thank you guys. Last call, investors. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Anthony who will introduce our final 3 presenters.
Great, thank you, Tien. I would now like to introduce Omnia Technologies. Omnia Technologies is an expert in trustworthy and explainable artificial intelligence machine learning solutions. Omnia's AI as a service platform radically changes the way data and AI can deliver value to complex high-risk environments such as healthcare and life sciences. Please welcome Rachel Alexander, CEO of Omnia Technologies.
Hi, I am Rachel Alexander. I'm CEO and founder of Omnia Technologies, and I believe there is a right way to do artificial intelligence. And if you do it the wrong way, it will fail. We built Justify, our artificial intelligence as a software platform, to radically change the way data and artificial intelligence delivers value to the healthcare and life sciences ecosystem. I've spoken. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm also going to the next slide. Okay. I have spoken with a lot of CEOs who are scared if they do not adopt artificial intelligence, they will become obsolete. And they are right. It's just like the advent of computers right now. AI is easy if you want Netflix to decide on the next movie you are going to watch. But if you are talking about complex environments with important decisions, AI is hard and most companies don't have the answer, but we do. Justify is an artificial as an intelligent as a service platform that's going to change all of that. Imagine you are a doctor or the head of R&D at Johnson & Johnson. You can log into Justify and give your business requirements to our system, and it will give you the best ethical, explainable, trustworthy AI solution. Justify makes it easy to collaborate with colleagues. Justify is like having the knowledge of 1,000 data scientists at your fingertips. And Justify reduces risk and helps you stay compliant. Justify has an out-of-the-box use case library for healthcare, life sciences, and health insurance. But you can create your own library as well. You can plug your own AI solutions into our system as well. The overall AI market is currently $47 billion, but it's expected to rise to $637 billion by 2030. And we are in niche markets as well, which are growing exponentially. And I am thankful more companies are thinking about trustworthy artificial intelligence. I have been advocating for this for a long time, and I'm glad that we finally have competition, but no other company does AI the way we do. And we're getting a lot of traction. We have 3 Justify clients and expect to add at least 2 more soon. And we are winning contracts with Fortune 500 and Fortune 200 companies. Big companies are coming to us. And I've assembled a team that is ready to bring Omnia to the next level. Everybody says that. But in this case, our management team has more than 150 years of AI experience. That's huge. Omnia expects to get $425K from Justify sales and licensing this year. We project license fees will grow significantly thereafter, and it's the motor of our company's growth. We have raised $450K in the current $2 million round. Funds will be used to support Justify go-to-market. We want to explode the market with our name. And we also want to make it fully self-service by next year. So I want to thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you in the breakout room.
Great. Thank you very much, Rachel. Next, I would like to introduce Rancho Santa Fe Bio. Rancho Santa Fe Bio is a clinical stage calcific disorders platform. Its lead drug candidate is a redirected Sanofi drug for treatment of progressive aortic valve stenosis. Please welcome Randy Burholz, co-founder and CEO of Rancho Santa Fe Bio.
Thank you. We are based in San Diego. We're a clinical stage platform company focusing on calcification disorders. We were formed in December 2019, and the Mayo Clinic owns about 22% of our company. We're focused on progressive aortic valve stenosis, which is a type of heart disease. I think, as one of the other presenters said today, there are 4 main valves in the heart, of which the main one is the aortic valve. Aortic valve stenosis is a heart disease that is characterized by maximum deposition of calcium that results in progressive impairment of valve function, and if untreated, ultimately results in progression to heart failure and death. AVS affects about 3% of adults over age 65 and up to up to 1 in 8 of adults over age 75. One of the current problems with progressive ABS is once a patient is diagnosed, they just undergo a watchful waiting period. There is no current medical treatment for them until their disease worsens, until they're eligible for a artificial valve replacement, either through a SAVR process above or a TAVR process below. One of the problems with these valve replacement surgeries, though, is that nearly 50% of patients have complications such as excessive bleeding, heart failure, stroke, and death. We believe at Rancho Santa Fe Bio, we have a transformative solution to this problem with our drug atacicept, which is a once-a-day oral drug. So in our scenario, once a patient is diagnosed, they are put on a treatment of atacicept, and atacicept delays or halts progression to SAVR or TAVR valve replacement surgery. Let me just talk a little bit about the drug. The drug was originally developed by the French pharmaceutical company Sanofi. They put about $60 million into it. And then they transferred it over to the National Institutes of Health. And then the NIH gave the Mayo Clinic a $5 million grant. In clinical trials, the Mayo Clinic found that atacicept is well tolerated and safe. It does not induce hypotension or hypertension, and it slows the progression of valve calcification by about 70%. The market for atacicept is actually very big. In the U.S., we have about 2 million patients at an annual cost to payers of about $25 billion. And in Europe, we have about 3 million patients at an annual cost to payers of about $37.5 billion. As far as competition goes, we will be the first drug in the market in Q2, Q3, 2027 if we are approved. Our drug is actually easy to use in that it's an oral pill used once a day. It can be used for a broader range of ABS indications, mild and moderate, and it's actually safe and has no effects on bone calcium. And so none of our competitors have all those characteristics. We have a very experienced team with over 14 exits and over 200 years of experience. As far as traction goes, we have 2 issued U.S. and EU patents that give us protection until December 2038. We also have other worldwide patent applications pending. We've also gotten licenses from the Mayo Clinic, Sanofi, and the University of Minnesota. We've begun manufacturing of our drug, and we've engaged a contract research organization. And the FDA has provided us with clear regulatory phase 3 approval. We're also applying now to the EU, the UK, and to Health Canada. So for financials and potential exit, we are looking at, after our current round, we are looking at raising up to $20 million. We plan to start our phase 3 clinical trial, which would be in Q2, Q3 of 2023. And then around the time of our interim phase 3, we believe we'll be ready for either an IPO or a trade sale. Investment request, we're raising a convertible note round right now. We've raised $2.2 million to date. We are now raising an additional $2.8 million. Use of funds, drug manufacturing, regulatory filings, and pre-phase 3 clinical activities. We currently have as our investors the Oxford Angels, individual members of the new fund San Diego, also Meta Angels, and we just got out of due diligence with the Keiretsu Forum, Pacific Northwest. Plus, we have a due diligence report from that group. I thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you in a breakout room. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Randy. So for our final presenter today, I would like to introduce SST Wireless. Small to medium-sized industrial companies are being left behind on the Industry 4.0 revolution. SST Wireless has removed the barriers to IoT adoption by developing a robust line of industrial-grade wireless plug-and-play sensors and gateways. Please welcome Christopher Chong, President and CEO of SST Wireless.
Thank you, Anthony. Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's happening in industrial IoT. Over 60% of all internet traffic, by the way, guys, is machine to machine. So it's a much bigger issue than most of us will see. But let me just walk you through that. So as a company, we're raising $2 million. There's $467,000 currently left. Our lead investor is Momentum Ventures, which is a very strong player in industrial IoT. Currency Capital, Swan, Tech Coast Angels, plus a growing list of angel investors are backing our company. So when you look at industrial IoT, we started off as a company solving problems that large companies have where they can't put a wire sensor. To put a wire sensor costs $100 a foot just to run the cable. So you can imagine. But we came across a much bigger issue a few years ago, and we decided that we're going to tackle it, take it on, which is, as Anthony has said, small to medium-sized companies are just not using the technology that's available. The first thing is look at that little rat's nest of things that are looking very complicated on the left-hand side. That's what an industrial automation system looks like today for sensors. It is complicated just as it looks. It's very expensive. And for a lot of small companies, even if they go into developing and deploying these technologies, they don't have the resources to figure out what all the data means. So a lot of people talk about, all this AI and machine learning, but the reality is that it's a lot more complicated than people make it out to be. So we came up with something called industrial IoT for everyone. We replaced that rat's nest with a simple sensor that's on a municipal water pump. So we're monitoring systems that allow you to flush your toilets and get water. We take a CapEx into an OpEx, whether it's our services or sensors, we can roll it into a monthly fee. And then we help our customers understand what the data from the machines are telling them. So that's a standard dashboard. We take it one step further. This is what we're really interested in, which is capturing events that happen. And these events that we capture, whether it's through the machines themselves or the operators or maintenance people adding their comments, becomes what we call trainable events. Without this, machine learning does not happen. And without machine learning, AI does not happen. So don't get fooled into all this stuff that you see on the hype side. You need the data to make things actually work. Big market. We're a small company, but we're growing rapidly. And I want to tell you how we are getting there. This is the city of Detroit. For example, they have transit buses, and all the wheels are a third of the operating cost, and we're able to help them reduce the operational downtime, conserve energy, reduce greenhouse gases. So that's a really good project. A lot of industrial machines are cooled by oil and water mixture, like in this one. And what we're finding with our sensors, a lot of our companies that we're working with are able to reduce the amount of water and oil mixture that they use, which not only decreases their cost, but it reduces the environmental impact that they're having in a lot of communities that they actually work in. Here's one, a simple ROI. We keep their plants from catching on fire. That's a pretty simple ROI that we can talk about. We are working now with container terminals around the world to help them automate a lot of processes where people have to be involved, manual, physical stuff. And as you know, the global supply chain is putting a huge amount of pressure on container port terminals, and we're helping to reduce some of the manpower requirements by automating tasks. This is my favorite one. Did you know that 10,000 municipalities in US and Canada are considered underprivileged? That means they don't have money. Main Street has gone away. Tax base is gone. They have an aging workforce that's retiring, and they have old equipment. So what we're doing with them is to capture all the knowledge and help them understand what their machines are doing and when they should react. So we're trying to help these smaller municipalities. And this is a big focus of ours right now, is to help these type of organizations. You can't go from zero to hero overnight. So we started off working with OEMs, so large companies where we get the scale, economies of scale to make thousands of sensors versus hundreds. These are some of the companies we work with. Over the last 5 years, we've been working with enterprise customers. Even Walt Disney World uses our technology to keep people safe on the rides that they're on. And now what we're after, and we're looking for your help, is to start addressing the small and medium-sized marketplace. And this requires a lot of different marketing tactics, but this is where we are today. We have a small but growing team, very focused, and we are focusing a lot of our efforts on sales and marketing at this point. Our revenues are about 1.7 this year based on the purchase orders that we have or commitments we have. That is going to accelerate, and our orders are basically increasing, but we are still struggling with some of the supply chain issues. So we should see a much better year next in 2023. As I've said, we have a very powerful lineup of technologies that can solve a number of problems. We have a growing list of marquee customers, as well as the family-run small company that's on every single industrial park around the world. We have a robust platform for doing the analytics on AWS, and we have some really interesting projects on the horizon. I think that's going to take us to a next level. Here's some marketing material that you can read. And the other thing is that as a company, we actually design and manufacture our own products. So this is a little different from companies who just simply take other people's products and make it into something that they sell. So that's SST Wireless. I can show you some more information during the breakout session, including a demonstration of our AWS platform. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm launching the investor-only poll to investors who might be interested in learning more about Omina Technologies, Rancho Santa Fe Bio, and SST Wireless. You guys did a great job. Thank you. Again, after this poll, we'll do a second sponsor poll for our sponsors, and then we'll go into breakout rooms. And all of you can go in and out of whatever breakout rooms you want. So absolutely have at it and ask questions and go deeper and watch the demos. And then again, before you leave the event to go to the breakout room, you may want to do it now. You may want to download your chat history because we got a lot of messages in the chat, and you can go review it later. Because if you go into the breakout rooms, you might lose the chat history. And if you leave the event, for sure, you're going to lose the chat history unless you download it ahead. So we still have some investor votes coming in. Anyone else? This is confidential. We'll share the names with our presenting companies only, and they'll be in touch with you. So last call for any investors who are interested in Omina, Rancho Santa Fe, or SST. Please indicate, and then we're gonna put up the next poll we're gonna put up is the sponsor poll. If you already answered the sponsor poll earlier, just disregard. This is for guys that joined late. Our sponsors are the ones that make this event possible, and we thank them profusely for it. And if anyone's interested in marketing services or legal services, application and software dev, accounting, wealth management, insurance, if you're looking to hire any senior executives, if you want to sponsor our event, if you want to present at our event, please indicate. And again, this is confidential, so we will pass your names on to our sponsors, and then you guys can have your own conversations at that time. So I still see people indicating. So yeah, please let us know. I think our sponsors are the best in the industry. So anyway, I'll go ahead and end the poll in a few seconds. Thank you guys for your support. And then we're going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms as well. So again, I would download the chat history before you go into the breakout rooms, but breakout rooms will be open till around 1 o'clock. So enjoy, network, connect, and yeah, I mean, we'll be in touch. And just mark your calendars for August 25th. That's our next virtual event. It's free. It's we have the Eventbrite page live. So so please do join us. And we'll be. You can come back to the main event to this part of the meeting at any time. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, please go into breakout rooms and enjoy.